Welcome back to World of Immersion. Today we're going to be ranking the top 10 rides at the one and only Walibi, Belgium. Now recently we just had the chance to visit Walibi, Belgium on our huge European trip that we just got back from. Be sure to check out all of the other videos on the channel if you haven't already. We have tons of vlogs and rankings up on the channel. But before we start today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss when we have brand new content. It shows that over 97% of you guys who watch these videos are not subscribed, so please hit that subscribe button if you can. It helps out the channel a ton. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Now coming in at number 10 is going to be almost an honorable mention of sorts, and that's because I didn't even know this ride existed until after we left the park already. And that is going to be the dark ride Popcorn Revenge. Now I felt like I had to include this on the list because if we did ride it, I am almost positive it would have been in my top 10. This ride looks very, very cool. It's a trackless dark ride, it's a shooting dark ride, and it just looks like a ton of fun. I don't know how we missed this ride. We must have just not gone into the section of the park that it was in, but I do wish I got the chance to visit it. Just gives me another reason to come back to Walibi, Belgium in the future. But coming in at number 9 is going to be the lowest ranked ride on the list that we did actually ride, and that is going to be Vampire, the park's Vekoma SLC. Now the only reason I even put this remotely on the list is because it is decently thrilling because it's an SLC, and the theming is alright. That being said, it is one of the worst coasters I have been on. It is extremely rough. One of the roughest SLCs, only probably second to Kong out of the ones I've been on. But like I said, the theming is alright, and it is definitely intense. It's definitely one of the more thrilling rides in the park, so maybe you'll like it, but it is very, very rough. Now coming in at number 8 is going to be Tikiwaka, the park's Gerstlauer bobsled family coaster, and this one is very, very cool. It feels almost like a Wild Mouse of sorts, except this one's got some banks and curves, and this one, the theming is very, very cool. One of the best themed rides in the park, in my opinion. You don't get a ton of airtime on those little dips, but the curves are a lot of fun. It's a decently long ride. And like I said, the theming is very, very solid for this park. Definitely a fantastic family coaster. Just do be warned, this gets one of the longest lines in the park because it is very, very popular and it doesn't have great capacity. But moving on to number 7, we have the park's Vekoma mine train, and that is Calamity Mine. Now this ride is actually very, very good. I am a huge fan of mine train coasters when they are done well, and this one is great. It's got 2 lift hills, the drops are very, very good, and the theming is amazing as well. In addition to that, it's one of the Vekoma mine trains, so it is buttery smooth, one of the smoothest coasters in the park, especially compared to those other Aero mine trains, which are definitely very rough. This one's a ton of fun. It's a fantastic family coaster. If you're a family visiting this park, I highly recommend checking this one out. Feels almost like a less themed version of Big Thunder. And like I said, the drops are definitely great, and the setting is amazing as well. Going over some of the water and all the rock work is great. The lift hills are definitely very well themed as well. And moving on to number 6 is going to be the park's Mock Rides water coaster, and that is Pulsar. This ride is very cool. It was the first one of this model that I went on where it's got the swing launch, and then the third time you go back through it, the water rises up and you splash down. And it's awesome. Once again, this is one of the best themed rides in the park. The queue is great with all the electricity flowing everywhere. I love that as the turntable turns when the vehicle is about to go launch, it builds up and there's a lot of pulsing with like the heartbeat and the electricity flowing everywhere. It's great. And like I said, that turntable is a very, very cool aspect. It's very awesome that they have a turntable on the ride. It helps out with capacity a ton because while one vehicle is going, the other one can be loading. And it's just great. You get some really, really good airtime on those drops, especially over that bunny hill as well, too. When you're going backwards through it, you get some crazy ejector airtime, and it's awesome. That splash also, do be warned, gets you very, very soaked. But it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend checking this one out, and it's a great ride to have at Walibi, Belgium. But moving on to our top 5, and at number 5, we have the park's wooden roller coaster, Loop-Garou. Now, with this ride was definitely decently rough. It was just pure fun, in my opinion. It felt very much like one of those old school wooden coasters, and it was really fun. The seats were almost more like couches. I know this is a funny thing to compare it to, but if I can compare it most to anything, it felt like you were riding along on a couch, and it was kind of just bouncing up and down. The seats were very, very comfortable, but you kind of bounced through all the airtime hills. We were all just laughing the entire time. I honestly had a ton of fun on this ride. We were the very, very last train of the day too, which was cool. We got to be one of the last riders on it. And just overall, while this ride is decently pretty rough, I thought the layout was a lot of fun. There were some solid pops of airtime. And it was more kind of that fun rough rather than like the jerky and painful kind of rough. And moving on to number 4 is going to be Turbine. This ride was awesome. It is a clone of Montezuma's Revenge over at Knott's Berry Farm and the other shuttle loop coasters. However, this one does have an LSM launch instead of the old kind of launch that Montezuma's Revenge actually just got rid of. However, what sets this one apart is this one is completely enclosed in the pitch black. The theming in the station is awesome. It is very, very cool. And the launch and the loop feels so much better in the pitch black. This ride was just very cool. It completely shocked all of us with how good it was. The only thing that I will say is it looks a little funky having it kind of enclosed with just the tube around the track rather than a full building. But that's just a minor nitpick. In fact, there are people who probably would say that it looks cool, so I might be in the minority that thinks it looks weird. But just overall, the ride is a ton of fun. I highly recommend checking this one out. But once again, do be warned, this is one of those rides that gets a very long line because of its very, very slow capacity, only being able to run one train. And moving on to number 3 is actually the newest ride in the park, and that is going to be the Gerstlauer Family Launch Coaster Mechaladon. This ride is awesome. This is the epitome of what a family coaster should be. It is truly a perfect family coaster. It's got incredible theming, amazing operations. The queue is very, very good. It's got 3 launches, which are all very good. It is buttery smooth. I love how it goes over the water. This ride is just pure fun. We are all completely shocked at how fun this ride was. Don't let its family size fool you. This ride is fun for everybody. And one of the best rides in the park, in my opinion. Absolutely, Walibi Belgium has a smash hit on their hands with this ride. I think it is going to be one of the most popular rides in the park because everybody can enjoy it. Like I said, it is buttery smooth. There are some solid pops of airtime. The restraints are very, very comfortable, and it's got great theming as well. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this ride. The only reason it's not higher on this list is because I do prefer some more thrilling kinds of rides and more immersive kinds of rides. And that brings us to number 2, which is going to be the park's signature dark ride, the Curse of Tutankhamun. This ride is insane. We knew absolutely nothing about this ride going in, and we were completely blown away. It's another trackless dark ride, and this ride is just insane. It's one of the best dark rides I think I have ever been on. The sets are insane. It's a shooting dark ride. However, I don't think it necessarily needs to be shooting in order to enjoy it. The sets are amazing. The animatronics are so cool. It's an incredibly long ride. It has a randomized ending. Everything about this ride is just awesome. The indoor queue is great as well with some animatronics. Like I said, we knew absolutely nothing going into this ride, and we were completely blown away. This ride is awesome. Do not miss this ride when you check out Walibi Belgium. And finally, coming in at number 1, this should be no surprise to anybody. That is Conda, the park's Intamin Mega Coaster. And this ride is awesome. Think of it almost as a Velocicoaster if Velocicoaster had a lift hill. I don't think it's as crazy intense or the elements are as good as Velocicoaster, but it is still an incredible ride. That first drop, especially in the back row, is absolutely insane. Truly one of the best first drops on a coaster. It is buttery smooth as well. It's got incredible airtime, especially towards the end. It has some non-stop airtime hills. I think my main issue with this ride is that it just has a very weak middle half. That first drop is great. That first airtime hill is great, but I don't love the almost cobra roll, the non-inverting cobra roll. I think it doesn't feel very great. The forces are not insane on that. I thought it would be a lot more whippy through it, but it's not as whippy as I thought. It feels just kind of like it meanders through that part of the course. However, that second half is great. Towards the end, especially with those tiny little bunny hills, you get some insane pops of airtime. The ejector is insane. And like I said, the drop is truly one of the best in the world, so that's why I had to come in so high on this list at number 1. But that's going to do it for our ranking today of the top 10 rides at Walibi Belgium. Be sure to comment down below if you've been to this park as well as how you would rank the rides here. That's going to do it for our video today. Be sure to stay tuned for the next one, and we'll catch you in the next video.